What's up everyone, Egg Quarters here, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Ambient Mixtape, which is a collection of 9 games over on itch, all surrounding a central theme, and that theme is After Hours. Every developer was given the same first-person camera controller and that theme, and then just told to go free, to form their own thing, to run with it. And it's really interesting what a variety of experiences we've got from these 9. So first up, we have Exit 19 by Jack Squires, which has this lovely static-y effect over everything. You're in a car, and you break down on a highway in the middle of the desert, in the glaring sun, so you gotta just walk around. And all of the games in the collection are probably what could be termed as walking simulators. I'll call them explore 'em ups, because I can, but they all do very different things. So Exit 19 gives you this huge space to walk about in, and there's a few scattered things that you can find that prompt little bits of text to come up, and the time of day changes, and nighttime especially looks fantastic in the game. Next up is The House That Dripped Blood by Lycaon, who did Silent Crossing that we covered on the channel a little bit ago. And this is a very troubling game. It's got the art style of Antechamber by Alexander Bruce. You wander from pillar to pillar, it's an explore 'em up, and again you get text. But the game is all about the developer's experiences whilst making this game, which included suicide, so it's pretty heavy stuff. And moving on, we have Touch Me Too by Animal Phase, which is probably the most playful of all the games in the collection, in that you get an arm that you can throw at things, which is funny, and it's got this underlying humour under it. It's very short, it's one of the shorter ones in the collection as well, but it's great for what it does. So, on to the next. So now we've got Media is Dead, You Are Alive by Mr. Tedders. And this is an odd one. It's one of the longer ones in the collection, and you solve a series of puzzles, block puzzles, which remind me of the ice levels from Pokemon. And they do various things. They unlock teleporters to different areas. Some of the areas are very strange indeed. And in one of the areas of the game, you even get to watch television screens once you've solved them. The puzzles do get harder. They start off quite simple, but they ramp up the difficulty. I never found them too taxing, but the later ones are definitely more difficult than the ones before. And you'll get some text as well, and it's all a very surreal and slightly unsettling experience, but I quite liked it. So now we've got one that's a little bit difficult to pronounce. I think it's The Nightmare of a City, but it's got a lot of spaces in its title, and an apostrophe, which I'm not sure why that's there. But it's by Paul Clarisou, who did Forever, that we've covered on the channel, and also 2 West, which I covered way back in the Mystic Western Game Jam. He's a member of the French gaming collective Klondike. And this is a very weird one. You're plonked down in the city, cars come at you occasionally, and you wander about, and you can go back to the metro to end the game. You can't die, you get knocked out of the way by cars, but it has this very weird effect that when you move, everything goes blurry, and when you stop and stare, everything goes static and straight and you can see it properly. And it's nice, I love the art direction in this. The yellow reflected in the rain of the streets and the sound of the rain just come together to create a short, i.e. the game is dictated by the amount of time that you want to spend there. It's just a repeating city, but it's cool, and I love the metro signs. They're very like the Art Deco one that there is in Paris at one of the metro stations. So I really like this one. Next up we've got I Have Been There Twice by Robo Cicero, and this one's got a lovely little description which I'm going to read out. I have been there twice. Twice isn't enough, to be honest, but past the first time I have only been there in fragments. Dreams and daydreams, and something half assembled. The sum of an infinite series is finite. If each successive term diminishes, 1 plus a half plus a quarter plus an eighth, etc., sums to 2. No matter how many more times I see us walking through Jiufen in the cool night, making our way back to the bus stop. Now, Jiufen is a town in Taiwan, so I take it that this is the developer's memories of the town. And it's a lovely little town. It's very dark. But around each light that you find, there's these papery moths flying, and for some reason behind you you leave a trail of light and coloured polygons, which I assume are you making memories? And towards the end of the game, there's a lovely view out across the ocean, just like in Jiufen. So this one's really nice. It's a nice place to go and lose yourself in for a bit. More games should have you leave trails, it's great fun. And on to the next, The Migration by Connor Sherlock. This is a very strange one. You're plonked down in an alien land, and there's weird bits of rock and stuff around you, Not really sure what they are, whether they're graves or whatever, and then you uncover some possibly ancient machinery? I'm not sure. It's very alien, very hard to understand, and you might be triggering a mass migration of celestial beings, which is great, if my interpretation is correct. It might not be, but I loved it, and the music and the visuals all come together really nicely in this one. It's just something strange and weird to go and enjoy. Next up is Rotting Crescendo by René Rother. And this is one of the more story-driven games in the piece. You're on a ship, in the driving rain, and your hand shields your face, and you find yourself in a cabin, and a few lines of text confront you, and there's a load of bits of paper on the floor, and basically it's a puzzle game. There's a puzzle at the centre of it. I won't spoil how you solve it, but look at what you've got around you. How would you solve it with what you've got there? Anyway, eventually you do, and then you get treated to a little bit of exposition at the end and some nice poetic words, which is lovely, although the actual outcome of solving the puzzle isn't so lovely. And this final one is Paloptique by Empty Fortress, which has a lot of people with tellies for heads. In a prison of some sort, maybe like the Panopticon of Jeremy Bentham. I'm not sure if that's what the title is alluding to. The developer describes it as a very bad interactive experience, but I quite enjoyed it. There's an unsettling sense of dread of the surveillance state that is produced by the game, and what you read, you get little messages of text off each of the people and some of the machines. One of them goes beep boop, which is lovely, and it's just a bit unsettling generally, and quite short, but I did like this one. So that was all the games from the Ambient Mixtape 16. It's also a shout out to Oysterfake for the first person controller that was supplied to everyone for the collection. So I hope you all enjoyed all of those games, or some of those games, or at least one of those games, and I'll leave links to them all below in the description. I'll leave both a link to the Ambient Mixtape homepage and to each game individually, so you can go check one out or all of them out easily as you wish. Hope you all enjoyed the video. That was Ambient Mixtape 16. I've been Headquarters. I'll see all of you in the next one. Bye!